DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. What is lease? Now, if you want to take a house, say as on a rent, you will have a kind of contract of lease between you and your house owner. So for example, 11 months of lease you take. So if you are good, then you can continue it. Otherwise, you have to leave the house. So there is always an agreement in every relationship. Here also we have a client and server relationship. We have a DHCP server and we have a DHCP client. So what happens whenever a new client comes into the network, there is a kind of contract is made from DHCP server to the client. So this IP is being assigned, network configuration is assigned, but it only these IPs which I am assigning right now, or you are watching being assigned, it only is assigned on a lease for a specified period of time. So DHCP server assign IP address and a network configuration to a client in the form of lease, only a temporary time arrangement or assignment. Okay. If you go to Windows, the 8 days is the default time. In Linux, you can change it. It can be minutes, it can be seconds, it can be hours, it can be days. So when using the DHCP in order to manage the pool of IP addresses, each client which is served on the network is only renting the IP address on lease, not permanently taking it, or the assignment is not permanent. So this is how it works. This is the actual picture of your system. So this is your DHCP setting and here is your lease time. So this is a lease for a specified period of time which is eventually going to expire. Okay. So the IP addresses managed by DHCP server are only given or only assigned on a lease for a limited period of the contract time. Normally the standard DHCP lease time is 24 hours. Normally. But in Windows it is different. As I said, 8 days. In different operating system, the time can be changed depending upon the settings. So unless this default settings are modified, DHCP server are going to assume that your IP address is just temporary and it is going to expire after that lease time or the specified period of time. And this is very important, very beneficial, because for example, this system is not in the network. What will happen to the IP address? If you have permanently assigned it without a lease, if a new system is coming, so this IP address can be reassigned to a new computer which has just joined the system. Okay. So giving the IP and reclaiming it is very important. So whenever we make an agreement, say you are a tenant and you have a house owner, so 11 months is the time you make a contract on a stamp paper. But after 11 months, what will happen? Either you will stay in the home or your house owner will say, oh, somebody is coming. So you thank you for your visit. You stayed here for 11 months. Thank you. And now you can look for some other house. So whenever the IP address and the configuration parameters is given by the DHCP, it is always on the lease. So the client can renew this temporary assignment, or you can say the client has to apply for the renewal. So DHCP has two timers, T1 and T2. Now this can be set always. There are settings, but the default values is if you are using T1, it is 50% of the lease time. T2 is 87.5% of the lease time. Now what does that mean? The T1 is called a renew state. It is a renew state. So when you are assigned an IP address and the network configuration, say for certain days, I will take an example, don't worry. So this renew state, it is a first timer which starts at the 50% completion of lease period. Now this is your client, this is your server. Now server has already assigned an IP to the client. Now client is enjoying the IP and working fine. Now the IP is assigned for say 10 days. Until 5 days, the client will do nothing. It will enjoy the network communication. After 5 days, that is when once the 50% of the lease time has expired, it will start the renew process from the same DHCP server who has assigned the IP to it. So the client computer submits a request to renew the lease to the DHCP server after expiry or completion of 50% of the lease time. For example, we are taking 10 days here. Okay. Now everything was going in the broadcast when the DORA process was taking. But now here everyone knows, both the parties know the IP address. So this lease renew request will be unicast. Alright, okay. Now if the DHCP server is online, it will accept the request and it will renew the lease, and the timer will again start from 0. Okay. If the DHCP server is on, it will accept the renew request and it will give, okay, you can again start from 0. So from 0 the time will start, and again the same process will be there. Again it will get the 10 days, and for 5 days it will be very happy to do nothing. Means in terms of renewal process. This is called renew state. This is again the lease renewal accepted is also unicasted because both know about each other. Now T2 is the rebind state. What does it mean? First timer was 50%. So the 10 days are there. After 5 days, the renew request will be initiated by the client. What will happen if the server is offline or server is not there? What will happen? Okay. All the network configuration it has got from some server, this client, but the server is not there. The server is offline, say. So it will keep trying after 5 days and keep trying ever. That is why this T2 has come. It is a second timer which starts at 87.5% of the completion of the lease period. You can take 8 days, for example. Okay. So till 50% completion up to 87.5% completion, this system is going to try again and again for the original server. But once this 87.5 lease time has expired, now it will try with everyone. It has to broadcast DHCP discover broadcast process. It will broadcast it as in DORA process. So it will ask every server, oh, my time is expiring. Please give me IP. Please give me IP. My original IP server is I'm not able to contact. Okay. So what will happen in case the client computer could not renew the lease due to DHCP server unavailable by this time, so 87.5%, this will happen. Okay. So whichever say other server is up or it is online, it will give the IP address now. Okay. So this is the binding state. Here it tries to locate a new server and tries to acquire different IP address. So the problem is here, the IP address will be changed as a new server will give a new scope, a new lease. Alright. Because everything is about IP and network configuration. If it changes, if you are doing some work, it will change for everyone. But in IPv6, in the bind state, if a new server is assigning the IP and other configuration, this will not change. This IP and configuration will not change. This is the beauty of IPv6 now. Okay.